Hi, my name is Denver Nolis with Wealth for Life. Thanks for taking the time to view this short video. Today we're going to talk about building income streams and why I think it's really one of the core parts of a wealth building strategy. I do it a little bit differently than kind of the mainstream financial media kind of talks about, so I want to give you a little bit of an overview of how we structure things. And I'll start by kind of using an income example. Now, I certainly see people of all different types of income, but for some reason I do tend to see a lot of people who come in with incomes in that $250,000 range. But these strategies are going to really work for any time there's income over 100,000 and up into the millions. There's some basic core fundamentals to this. And so when you get down to either a traditional retirement age, or maybe you're deciding, hey, retire early or go part-time or do some of those things, you start thinking about the idea of having income coming in. And if you're currently spending around $250,000 a year, there's a lot of data showing that as baby boomers are getting into retirement, they're spending about the same. But I think most people can tend to say, hey, I could probably reduce my expenses by maybe about 15% or so. So you go out, you take this number, you try and reduce it by 15%. That's going to give us the target that we're trying to hit, the first target. So the first target is, okay, I want about 212,000 in income. So when I'm retired, whether it's early or traditional, that's the number we're going to try and hit. So that's the first step. But then the next thing you want to do is you want to start thinking about building income streams. Income streams are that pension type concept, the income for life concept. The idea that no matter what, you have a certain amount of money coming in every month, regardless of what's going on in the world. And so we want that number really, as far as the income stream number, to be about 70% of this. 70% of that number. So remember, this is my real target, but we want to have 70% of that covered. That will put that around 150,000 with income streams, with money that comes in no matter what. Stuff that's going to be protected and then also guaranteed. And that's kind of the criteria for building those income streams. This will give you a lot more peace of mind that if everything else isn't working, you can kind of make that work, is building these protected and guaranteed income stream numbers. So now I have my $150,000 target. This is what I'm trying to hit. What do I do now? Well, so there's usually a couple different types of income streams. And if we kind of start with, what I'll normally see is people will have money in like defined benefit plans, 401k plans, SEP plans, IRAs, qualified plans, and they'll take a chunk of that and use a good annuity with an income rider. Now, there's a lot of bad annuities out there for sure, and a lot of mediocre ones as well. So make sure you watch my video on the great annuity deception. But the criteria you want in the annuities is no risk, so no variables, because those can still go down, they're too expensive. You want the double-digit growth potential, the DDGP I call it. You want to be able to have good upside when the markets are going up. You want to just have it, one step better than sitting on the mattress. You want to really be able to have it grow, and so double-digit growth potential. And then inflation protection in the payout. That's one of the most important criteria. Again, watch that annuity deception video. Most of these income riders that are sold do not have that. But if you set it up right, you can have great double-digit growth potential, you can have inflation protection, increasing payouts, and what you'll do then is you take a chunk of that money, and then you'll get maybe about 50K, for life off of this portion, so now you have 50K covered. Using, usually some of the old money in the IRAs, defined benefits, 401k plans. So the next thing you want to do is you want to set up a tax-free bucket. As we know, if you've seen some of my other materials, all of this income is going to come out taxable. So it's nice to have something tax-free in case taxes go up. Gives us better access to our money as well without having to write big checks to Uncle Sam at that time. So that's going to be using an index life policy. Now, permanent insurance is really the only place that you can put this amount of money to be able to create an income stream of 100 grand for life on a tax-free basis. But that would be the plan. So you start building to this number. Now you have your 150,000 here. Now you have the protected number covered. You have the guaranteed income covered, and you've built a pretty good, strong, solid core. So if the whole thing goes down in flames, well, now you still have that 150,000 coming in. But now this is just for that 70% of income. We still have the other 30%. So what do we do for that 30%? Well, you follow kind of traditional strategies. You have investments, you have real estate, you have alternative assets, you have business creation. You know, there's a lot of different ways to create additional wealth and be able to get great returns. But the idea is that you can take risk in a better way when you know that you have your bases covered. When you know that you have 70% of your income covered that you're going to need, it makes this process a lot easier. Now, for some people, it might be different. You know, here we're talking about, 70-30, 70% income streams, 30%, kind of in that risk quadrant. For some people, it may be 60-40, it may be 50-50. They may bring in different skill sets, or they may have real estate set up, they may have businesses set up. The percentage may be different for you, and that's kind of where you have to kind of just sit down and look at the numbers and see where you're going to build it to. And also, this is a process that you want to start young. The younger, the better. Kind of don't buy into that mainstream financial advice that when you're young, just take risk and everything's going to be okay. That's probably the most unsuitable advice I hear out there in financial planning, because when you're young, you have time. You don't need to take risk. And what happens when you're young and you take risk is usually it's very emotional, right? When you have all of your eggs in one basket and it's 2008 and the market's crashing, it's hard not to make emotional decisions, pull money out. That's what happens to investors, of course, all across the board, is that it gets too emotional, market's going down, they see all their money getting lost, and then you end up repeating that vicious cycle. Now, if the majority of your income is covered, you know that you have, okay, we have 70% of my income is going to be covered. With that smaller portion, it's easy to weather the volatility, weather those emotional storms. And I would say also that a lot of times you're better at taking risk when it's not as emotional, when you don't have to worry about it because you have more of your bases covered. So start the process when you're younger. So this is kind of a quick introduction to how we set up income streams. Your situation may be different. If you want to find out if these strategies can work for you, just sit down with us. Let's chat. We'll have a conversation and see if we can work out some numbers. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll talk to you again soon.